We're in the heart of green in the very middle of Coffs Harbour, and today we're going hunting the magnificent powerful owl, Australia's largest owl, its largest nocturnal bird of prey, and an incredibly important apex predator. Let's go! Behind us is a really big block of native vegetation, of bushland, and within it are some really massive old growth trees. Some of them are many centuries old, and they've got within them really big tree hollows, really big cavities that take many centuries to form. And that's where the powerful owl nests, and it's where it roosts. And it's also where so much of the food of the powerful owl lives. Things like possums and gliders, various snakes, all sorts of other creatures live within tree hollows, and they're so important. These eucalypts, like the blackbutt behind me, provide incredible amounts of food for the prey of the powerful owl. There's also tallow woods here, which are the favourite food of the dungir, the koala, and there are koalas around here. At the moment we can hear lots and lots of birds calling because the blackbutt are flowering, and it produces a whole lot of nectar and pollen, which brings in lorikeets and honey eaters, and at night it brings in flying foxes. And we heard last night the male powerful owl calling up here, and there were lots and lots of flying foxes feeding in the blackbutts, in the flowering blackbutts. And the powerful owls definitely eat the flying foxes. So they're sitting silently on a perch. They're up to about 60 centimetres high, a wingspan about as big as I can reach across, and they're waiting. And they're looking for a chance to get food. And when the blackbutts are in flower, they'll be sitting, watching, waiting for the flying foxes to come in, and they'll swoop silently on the night sky. And with these massive talons, they'll grab the flying fox and they'll spear it basically. And then with their massive beak and their talons, they rip their prey apart. And often during the day, when they're at their roosts, they'll have the remains of last night's dinner with them. It might be half a possum, it might be the mangled remains of a flying fox, and on quite a few occasions just behind us we've seen the powerful owls with the remains of the previous night's dinner. Let's go and have a look. We're getting really close now to the roost and to the nest site, so hopefully the dad will be where he's been recently and we can get a bit closer to him. Yep. Oh, that's good. Not there. No. As well as this being a great spot to see the powerful owl, this is a really reliable spot for seeing koalas and glossy black cockatoos. And when we're in the bush, we're always looking around for signs of creatures that have been around. And with the koalas and their feed trees, you can look below the ground for their poo, for their scats, which are very distinctive. And we're always looking when we're in the bush at what's around us, because there are clues and hints about what's going on that are obvious. And always having our senses open, always looking, always listening. And look here. Here's a red triangle slug. Wow. The red triangle slug here. It looks a bit like blood, but that's actually its natural markings. It's about 5 or 6 or so centimeters long. It's a big slug, and we've had so much rain, there've actually been an awful lot of these red triangle slugs around. Thanks, buddy. So we're looking for koala scats below this, one of their favourite food trees, a swamp mahogany forest red gum hybrid. And although today we haven't found any koala poo, I'm just looking down here and there's some brush-tail possum poo just there. It's caught a bit of gravel up on it, and there was another scat just over here somewhere. So in the last evenings the possums have
Here's one.
there's a bit there and another bit just over here and another bit here. So in the last evening or 2 or 3, the brush-tailed possums have been feeding above us here. At this stage can't really see any koala poo, but we can keep looking. Last night at about midnight we heard the male powerful owl calling for about 20 minutes. He was calling out at the entrance. Hopefully we can find him. We've searched a few of his roosts and we haven't found him yet. They're definitely around. They've been nesting here from what we understand, or from when we first saw it back in 2008, so about 14 years now. And we first heard the female and we were having a barbecue in the backyard, and we thought, wow, that's a female powerful owl, how exciting. And we went and we grabbed our binoculars and we grabbed the spotlight and we found where she was, and she was in a big blackbud out the front here. And in her claw, she had something that was black and white fur with a fair bit of blood and flesh. We were looking at it through the binoculars, and what on earth is that? And we realised it was actually half a kitten that when we first met this pair, this lady, this female powerful owl, that she'd hunted a kitten and was proceeding to eat it. And we've followed them ever since. So for the better part of 14 years now, we've watched nesting and fledging and hunting and roosting, and hopefully we'll find Dad today, because Mum's probably on the nest at the moment. This is one of our very favourite places. It's the mossy log. It's a stump that's maybe a century or so old, of a swamp mahogany. It's been on the forest floor here in the old growth ever since, and it's completely coated in moss. This beautiful velvety, lustrous green moss. And last year it had a spotted-tailed quoll living within this hollow. Doesn't look like the quoll's around anymore. I do wonder though whether a powerful owl's somewhere close by. I've got a feeling he is. Here's some of the poo, the whitewashing from the dad powerful owl. He's up in the canopy above us, about 30 meters up in these turpentines above, and because they eat lots of meat and bones, they've got poo that has lots of calcium in it, so lots of this whitewashing, as it's called. And this is last night's poo. There's a blot here. It's been raining lots, so there could well have been a lot of other poo around, but it's washed away. And there's another spot of poo just over here. There he is. There he is, preening himself. We're about 30 metres below the daddy powerful owl right now. He's on a roost in the turpentines above, and we just watched him preening and scratching himself and doing this big splotty poo. And in front of us here, all of these dots of white, and the liquid here is the remains of yesterday or last night's dinner, and the flies have all just arrived. So there's lots of nutrients in his poo, and immediately the flies have just come in on it. It's quite remarkable to watch. Although you can never be sure with nature that you're going to find what you hope, today we had a successful adventure. We found the father powerful owl, which was just wonderful, and we can be pretty confident that he's there looking out for mama powerful owl, who's on the nest at the moment, trying to hatch the eggs. Hopefully a couple of eggs this year. Some years there's one, some years there's two. We found a heap of other stuff along the way. Of course, we found some possum poo and the incredible red triangle slug. We heard a whole lot of birds. We heard about 35 species of native birds. So we really enjoyed having you along with us on our adventures today. We're hoping to make a whole lot more as time goes on, and we'd love you to share our adventures, to subscribe to our channel, and to keep joining us with Bellinger Nature for a better future for Mother Earth.